How to launch a new product as a startup. Practical steps to shipping new products. So, if you're watching this and you're a founder, we both know that you're constantly launching new products, or you might be watching this video and it's your first time to launch a new product. That's also fine. But also, if you're a startup founder, you know very well that at some point you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're launching multiple products as features or new products as you scale. So how do you do it systematically? Remember, this infrastructure that I've developed is a tool to help you systematically do things systematically with some form of structure, because most startups are destroyed by a lack of structure, a lack of strategy, proper strategy, how to do things in a way that you're not going to mess yourself up. So this is going to be a guide for you to know, okay, all right, I understand now how to do these things properly, so that you don't jump a step and then at the end of the day it comes back to backbite you. Now, shipping a new product should not be left to chances. There are proven ways to ship new products on the marketplace, and that's exactly what this session is about. Step zero: choose the form of value. Because again, I'm well aware of the fact that you might be watching this video. This is not for tech startups only. So you're watching this video, but you're not a tech founder, but you have an amazing business that you're working on. Now, the reason why I say it's step zero, it's because first of all, this is a value creation series. We're going to have other series, but this is a value creation um, uh, set of videos. So you need to start by understanding the kind of value, the form of value. I covered the 12 forms of value. Go and watch that video. It's going to help you know, okay, what is the right value? What is the right vehicle? Because the 12 forms of value are 12 ways to package your offer. Now, is it going to be a product, a service, a shared resource, a subscription, resale, lease, agency, audience aggregation, loan, option, insurance, or capital? What is the vehicle in which you're going to package your offer? So once you are clear about that, now we can start with step one. Now let's start thinking about how to launch this product. How do we build it? Step one is a prototype. What is a prototype? A prototype is an early model or sample of a product, system, concept used to test and validate ideas before full scale production or implementation. Now, you might say, okay, but I'm a fashion brand. What is a prototype? You know what I mean by a prototype. That piece of cloth you put together so that people can see the pattern, your uniqueness, your idea, where you're heading. That is a prototype. Before full scale production, you don't want to start producing things without the prototype. Now, why do you need a prototype? You need a prototype because you want to trigger signals of interest. When you have a prototype, people can say, "Ah, I love the direction of these things. Keep going. We love the shape things are taking. Keep going." Now, there are two strategies to leverage when prototyping. Like I said, strategies, because you want to do things in a smart way. Now, the good things about the strategy is like a sword. So you can cut something with a knife, but if I'm using a sword or a laser light, I'm going to cut faster, more efficiently, more clean, because that's what I want you to have. Because if you've had the chance to follow my content or come across my content, that's the leverage you're going to have over other people. You will do things in a way that is it's the same thing that you're doing, but way more efficient, way more high level, way more high quality, because I'm into high caliber, high efficient, high impact type of things. If you're not going to do things and be the best at what you do, the best in your industry, the best they've ever seen, better not do it. Don't do it. That's the philosophy. Excellence. Execute with excellence, with something unattainable levels of quality. That's what you want to do. You don't do things for the sake of doing them. You do things and people say, that was something we've never seen. Congratulations. That's why we are teaching. That's why we're sharing this. Two strategies to leverage when prototyping. Number one, modularity. What is modularity? Combining different forms of value. In other words, you DJ the values. You become the DJ of value, DJ value. Oh my God. Actually, if I launch a DJ career, I might call myself DJ value. Oh, wait. I should patent that. Now, 12 forms of value. Number one, we've seen products. So you can combine different forms of value. You can combine a product and a service, a resale and a lease, an agency and an audience aggregation, subscription and service. Netflix offers service, which is movie streaming, but it's a subscription. Okay. Tesla now, they were just selling products. Now they're going to go into a service, a taxi service. They are partnering with this self-driving taxi in the US. They are going to do that, and Uber as well. Okay, so you can combine capital and product. You are a venture capital firm that is paired to a venture studio. That's a product and a service and capital at the same time. So you can see how you can modulate these forms of value. Or you can bundle and unbundle, help create value for different customers without having to create something new. Now, this is so good because you can take one offer and package it in a such a way that it can cater to different needs. I'll give you an example. Let's say you were selling you're selling water, and the only type of product you have is a package of 12 bottles. But you can say, you know what, we are going to retail this. You know what, we are going to sell these 12 packages of water, but in such a way that you're going to pay half, but do a subscription of 6 months and pay upfront. Bundling and bundling, it helps create value for different customers without having to create something new. This is what MTN does, and these telecom companies, they keep selling us different bundles of internet, bundles of airtime, bundles of message, bundles, pack. MTN super pack, calling pack, Christmas pack, Easter pack and pack and pack and pack. Why? They are creating, they are bundling and unbundling a specific type of value, but they're not creating anything. MTN does not create anything. They just play marketing, packaging, repackaging, bundling, unbundling. They don't even do modularities. No, they don't have nothing to modulate because they sell one per airtime, bundle and unbundling. So this is it's a powerful way to do to sell businesses, especially if you are in a commodity business, if you are in a service business. There is a way you can combine different forms of value in such a way that people are going to be like, oh, I love this. I can take that. Like before, MTN used to sell like 500, a card, an airtime of 500. That was the least they could sell. But now 100. So it's an interesting way to approach value creation. And then when you're prototyping, when you're creating the value, when you're creating a prototype for your product, you can find ways to play with forms of value in such a way that you come up with something that matches your customer need. Because you can sell. This is a problem that most businesses have. You're selling a product, but your customer really needs the product, but they want flexibility in how they can afford it. Okay, why don't you introduce a payment plan? Why don't you introduce a subscription plan? Why don't you make it a shared resource? Make it shared. Say, okay, you're going to use it for 1 hour and 2 hours, and then you pay that amount. It's an interesting way of commercializing, of doing commerce and economics in general. where people are accessing things but they don't own them. Mhm. You're accessing things but you don't own them. Not everyone wants to own a house and deal with everything. Give them access to the house. Let them pay for hours, per hours. Hotels, the same. Not everyone will have the capacity to build an apartment in Paris, but there's Airbnb. This is what Airbnb did. And by the way, we can bring this into also the African context where there are so many things that people need, but they can't access them because they're expensive. And whoever is selling those things is just selling a rigid form of value. So why don't you prototype something that also considers different forms of value, and then allow people to afford what you are offering? Okay. Now, step two is iteration, which is a process you can use to make anything better over time. Now, after having that rough prototype, it could be a prototype of a garment, it could be an app, it could be a product that you've processed, let's say agriculture products and everything. After that, what do? Go ahead and give it to people, show it to people, and then collect feedback and then iterate, improve it. So iteration is just a sequence of improvements that you execute after as you collect what the feedback. So iteration has 6 major steps. So Josh Kaufman called it the wigwam method. Step number one: watch what's happening, what's working, and what's not. So when you're iterating, you're watching. Okay, can I move this? Can I remove that? Can I execute on that? By the way, I know when you see this, you're like, oh, I wish I can do this in my business. We are putting together a structure where we can help businesses implement these infrastructures. So it's in the pipeline. But in the meantime, you can be applying that in your business. When you've launched something, first thing, watch. Number two, ideate. What could you improve and what are your options? Okay, what can you improve? So after watching, the next thing is, okay, I've noticed a problem. How can I improve it? Number three, guess which of your ideas do you think will make the biggest impact? And then number four, decide which change to make. So you've observed what's working, what's not working. Number two, you ideated. Okay, this is what we can improve. And then you're like, okay, let's try this one. And then decide what to change. Then number five, make the change. Number six, measure what happens. Measure the impact. So let's say you've put together a certain type of product or service, you've given it to people, then you sit and say, okay, now we've added what they gave us as a feedback. Did it actually work? Okay, it worked. No, it did not work. Okay, fine. Let's see how we can improve then moving forward. Now, there are 3 strategies to consider when doing iterations. There is iteration velocity, alternatives, and then trade-off. So iteration velocity is the speed at which you iterate. Now, I'm always a huge advocate of iterating very fast. So make sure that when you're iterating, you're not wasting time. So you iterate, and then when you're prototyping, you give your product to, let's say, 10 people. That's fine. That's a good number. Collect those 10 people, say, okay, look, give me feedback. Then alternatives include making larger, less frequent changes, which may reduce short-term costs but slow learning, or learning on extensive upfront planning, which can delay feedback and risk bundling the wrong thing. So alternatives is presenting people, okay, can you try this one as well? What do you think about this one? And then trade-off is when you say, okay, we are going to leave this on the table. We want to prioritize speed, and then quality is going to come after. Is balancing speed and quality. Faster iteration lead to quicker learning and adaptation, but may increase short-term inefficiencies or rework. Okay? So you're well aware of the fact that, okay, we want speed, but you're also aware of the risks. The risks that, one day maybe like you're doing this, but At some point, you realize that, oh my God, this is something that we should maybe have added. But it's fine. The market loves speed. Markets love speed. So you just be aware of the trade-offs. Be aware of the fact that, okay, even though you are iterating faster, there are things that are not going to be included, and you might miss a few points, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We learn. We learn and we move. We move and we move fast. All right. Step 3, feedback. This is easy. Helps you understand how well is your offering meeting your potential customers' needs before development is complete, which allows you to make changes before you start selling. Okay? So we've seen step 1, you choose. Step 0, you choose a form of value. Step 1, you prototype. Step 2, you iterate. Step 3, you collect feedback. Okay? Listen, steady yourself, ask open-ended questions. Okay? Take what you hear with a grain of salt. The worst response isn't empathetic. Dislike is total apathy. Okay. So give potential customers the chance to pre-order. If they are buying, if they're willing to buy, that's a green light. Okay. So when you're collecting feedback, you want to pay attention. You listen, you ask questions, you be curious. I think here, the center of feedback is curiosity. Because if you're launching this product, you're collecting feedback, but you're not curious. Ask questions. Sorry about that. Ask questions. Okay? Ask questions. So make sure that people notice that your intention is to improve the product. Your intention is to make the product better. And then, so once that's there, once you've established that reputation, then people are going to realize, oh, okay, let's give him more insights. Step 4, minimum viable offer. This is an offer that provides the smallest number of benefits necessary to make a sale. In other words, it's a prototype that people are willing to purchase. Exactly. So after collecting feedback, prototyping, iterating, now you end up with a product that people can buy. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's something that people can purchase for a small amount, but you want to see the signals of interest. Feedback from real customers, but also the purpose is to minimize the risk of the project by keeping the investment small and quickly discovering what works and what doesn't. This is when people make a huge mistake where they are like, okay, we want to launch maybe like a manufacturing company, but what you should do instead of launching that company right now, what you should do instead is say, okay, you know what? Let's make a few packages, a few samples, give it to people, see if they can buy it. Plant it in different retail stores, or if you have an app, have this app, give it to your friends, couple of friends, 5, 10, 15, give it to them and say, okay, use this and let me know how does it feel. You can even ask them, okay, we're going to charge, we're going to take it away. We're going to take it away. And then they'll be like, no, that was really helpful, I want to keep it. All right, I don't know, $5 per month. And if they pay, now you have something. And let me give you a tip, guys. Like, especially folks who are building apps, build the most immediate useful thing that people can want. One thing, one feature. Are you building like an ERP or something like that? Or let's say you're building like a health tech app for like doctors, whatever, these things that people build. You can say, okay, you can have like the details of doctors. That's the first thing. I think I saw folks from Capsule, I believe, they launched a pharmacy location service, something like that. So you can just locate pharmacies in your neighborhood. That's amazing. That's great. Because at least start with the most easiest immediate feature, yet useful immediate feature that you can incorporate in your app and give it to people. So once it's immediate, it's simple, it's useful, emphasis on useful, then that's a good that's a great progress. That's the best next step that you take. And then once that is in order, then you can start doing shadow testing. Shadow testing means selling an offer before it actually exists. You have to be upfront with your customer that the offer is still in development, but it's still available anyway. Okay. So when you do shadow testing, basically what you're doing, you're giving it to people, you're casting a shadow, telling people this is what's coming. That's when you launch. We'll see that in marketing, but that's when you launch wait lists and everything. So the steps, so it's a straightforward process. But most of the time, what most founders do or business owners do, they go, maybe they have a prototype. No, no, no. In fact, they go from the different forms of value all the way to just launching the product in the marketplace. That's a very, I'm not going to say, it's not even, it's more than risky. That's deadly. You want to gauge interest of people and then let customers. I used to tell the founders I was coaching that what you want is customers to tell you what to build next. Give customers the product and let them tell you, okay, build this next, build this next, build, oh, next one, this is what we need, next one, this is what we need. I think that's one of the most amazing, precious product development practice that I've ever learned. And I did not read that in a book. I learned that by experience, because when you give people that minimum, the minimum viable offer, okay, the prototype, and then tell them, okay, what do you think I should add next? And then they say, okay, I love that color, but I think you can make it a little bit dim, make it a little bit and enhanced. Okay, maybe you can cut the garment in this way. If it's an app, I think this feature can be really amazing if you add it, because ABCD. Oh, we don't need that feature that much. You can actually remove it and replace it or bring it after. And maybe consequently, that was one of the most expensive features that you've added. So so let's incorporate customers in the process of building our businesses, in the process of building our products, because it's much easier. Actually, it shortens the length, it shortens the innovation, the time it takes, the time to the innovation to time ratio is going to reduce, because you've incorporated the customer. Because instead of sitting in your house and say, oh, you know what, I think we should build this next. No, go ask your customers. Tell them, hey, look, we've been having these services. Let's say we provide training, we provide consulting, but we've been looking for something that is really more like add more value to the customers. What do you think we should add next? Oh, sure, that's very easy. Add this, add that, do this, and then we will actually buy it. I was actually looking for it. What, for real? Can you pay it for now? Like, as we are building it? Oh, 100%. Because I'm sure if you guys launch it, it's going to sell out. I'll give you an example. So I started building a community, and I was like, oh, I'm going to post on LinkedIn only. Then people started asking me, okay, Willie, so can you mentor me? Can you coach me? Do you have some resources that I can consume? I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to start recording videos. And after recording the video, people were like, but we need to have like a community and get access to resources. I created the Startup Growth Resources. And people were like, oh, yeah, we need like long form content that we can read, which is more like in depth, more than LinkedIn. I was like, okay, we are going to start a newsletter. So the customers are going to keep, now people are asking me for an in-person event. I know we are working on that. But it's very interesting. So people are going to tell you what to build next. And that's the best spot to be as a business. So don't build alone. Don't sit in your house, in your office, somewhere, and then say, I should build that. No, go build it with the people. When you discover a problem, you have a prototype, it's now high time to start involving people. You remember in the first videos when we were covering strategies to build unbeatable startups? No. Values of the ladder of value creation. We shared something very important. You have the skills, you build a small prototype, but remember the next thing you should do, bring attention to what you're building. Build an audience, talk about the problem, let people know that this problem is real. Then after that, they're going to tell, okay, build that, build that, build that, build that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then after that, by the time you realize you have capital, you have resource, you have a movement of believers who believes in your mission, and bam, you hit it. So I hope this was valuable. Go ahead and implement it and let me know how it goes. Catch you guys in the next one.